Hello everyone, welcome to an off-season episode of the Hoops Official. Today I am hosting Gatis Saliņš. Gatis is a FIBA referee, Latvian FIBA referee, who has kind of seen it all. As a matter of fact, today we're discussing how there is no off-season for an elite FIBA referee. Gatis has been officiating in some of the biggest basketball events in the world, Eurobasket, World Cup, Olympics in past summers. So he's going to break it down for us, the technical preparation, the physical preparation, the mental preparation that is needed prior to the tournament. He's going to also share some insider knowledge, the crew communication, the communications with the star players, typically stuff that don't really make to the TV broadcast. On top of that, we will sweeten the deal by looking at some of the real life situations from the court and see how elite level referees during these tournaments watch themselves and adjust quickly and improve throughout the tournament. If you're aspiring at FIBA level, this is for you. Tune in and please share with your friends. Hi, Gatis. Welcome to the show. It's a great pleasure to host you here in the off season. I know it's off season for us, but not so much for you. So thanks for making the time.
Hello. Yes. Also for me, thank you for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to share the experience, some tips and have a good conversation.
So yeah, let's get that started. I mean, you have been a FIBA referee since 2017, and you have been officiating in the Latvian league, the BCL. You have been in Eurobasket, Olympics. So you have had a kind of a pretty packed few years. How is it going? The experience? Have you been counting how many games? Any stats that you have been keeping?
Yeah, I would say experience so far is great. Like you said, the summers and also the season's been packed, but this is what I always wanted to achieve, as a referee, to become FIBA and to be able, to officiate major tournaments and major competitions. And regarding the counts, actually, yes, from beginning of my FIBA career, I'm actually counting all the games I'm doing, either it's Latvian level or FIBA, and also, the flights. So I keep the count, and then I, let's say compare the years and make some kind of statistics for myself, also.
So
for the future.
Do you have a number that you want to share with us, or?
I would say actually I checked in the previous season, because I'm counting not like from January to January, but I count like basketball season, like from September to September. And last year I had 98 games. Right. And it was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like 110 flights.
Yeah, pretty packed years, and it's a very interesting to me also. Like, I've been, as you know, hosting a lot of referees in here, and actually, as a matter of fact, you're the second Latvian referee I'm hosting. This is I think this show goes back to like maybe 2 years maximum. So having hosted two referees from the same small nationality, it's a kind of something telling on its own. So that's what I wanted to ask. Like, what do you guys do really well in Latvia so that you produce these referees that goes to elite level?
I would say one of the main points is sharing the information, and nobody's hiding it. Like, for example, you had the guest Olex, and I would say he's one of the best mentors I had throughout my career when I was starting to officiate, let's say, second level and top level in Latvia, and also the other ones, Andris, Oskars, Ingus, and we have, let's say, a lot of them. And whenever I had the questions, and whenever anybody have the question, we can ask and we can receive the information. And then it's, I would say, the matter of how we use it. Are we able to apply it on the court? And so far, what I can see from fellow Latvians and myself, so far we can do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you're being humble a little bit as well. Like, obviously, information sharing is important, but I think, you guys also know basketball. Like, basketball knowledge is something. And I think also, like, the personality, like refereeing, kind of appreciate a certain personality, being able to be calm, but firm on the court. I think, there are certain moving elements here that makes Latvians good candidates for elite level, for sure. Speaking of which, the elite level. So, it's always assumed that you get an off season and it's quiet. Most of professions does, the holiday season. But to our understanding that if you're at the FIBA level, there is no off season really. And we briefly touched upon it. So how does your off seasons look like?
Basically, if we speak about this summer, I don't have an off season because my season in Latvia finished like in May.
Yeah.
And also, like, I went to the Women Eurobasket on 14th of June, which means, the physical preparation already started like 2 months before the Eurobasket. And also, some video work and mental preparation. So in this case, if we speak about this summer, there is no time off. And now the preparation for the men Eurobasket already started, mostly physical. And now in July, let's say I will not have any games to officiate. It will start in August with some preparation games and with some World Cup pre-qualifiers. But in general, yeah, to answer the question, in this summer, there is no time off, but maybe in the previous ones, maybe 1, maybe 2 weeks. But actually, this is, I would say, maximum.
All right. Yeah, speaking of, like, you already started touching upon that, because it's been like pretty packed 3 years, if you think about it, right? 2023, there was a World Cup, then 2024 Olympics, and now we have the Eurobasket event in Europe, and you were already in Eurobasket Women. So big tournaments. And as you said, there is a need for preparation. And I think when we first exchanged about this, you talked about how, like, rigorous that physical, at least the physical part is, like that you're being kind of checked all the time to see if you're actually, making the mark, which has an impact on your nominations, I assume. So if you can break down, what do you actually do, or how are you being evaluated, both like physical and maybe technical knowledge point of view as well?
I would say in general, this, let's call it like a scouting process, for the big tournaments. I would say it starts like few years in advance, and we as a FIBA referees, especially elite, we do basically basketball Champions League games in the season, and this is one point of evaluation, because every game is evaluated and we receive let's say a mark after the game, and this is one point how they, let's say, create the base and statistics of who is doing what, and then based on your quality and based on your consistency, they can consider you, let's say, for some bigger tournaments. And also, if we speak physically, we are using polar heart rate monitors for every game, which means we have to upload all the data on the cloud, and our physical trainers, they're checking, the games, they're checking how we do, the trainings, also, some tests prior to competition, and then, they can see who is, let's say, less, who is more ready, maybe who needs some more strength, maybe who needs some more, let's say, track and field training and stuff like that.
So and this is, you're already being tracked in the regular season for your physical fitness, basically, for every game.
Yeah, basically, I would say basically we are tracked all the time. Just the difference is, for example, like in the biggest competitions, for example, like here I was in Women Eurobasket, we have much more advanced, device from Polar, and also actually our fitness coordinator, he can check our data in the game, in the real moment. Yeah. So, if there is some tougher situation, they also can see, what is your heart rate in that particular moment, how you're dealing, with the pressure, with the stress, and and then
they can tell you if you're making an emotional call, eh?
Yeah, they can see it.
So if you could give me an honest answer, you go through a lot of trainings and tests. What pushes you the most, if there is anything that's stand out for you?
I would say mental preparation.
Yeah.
Because I would say physical is physical. You can do the training. It can be easier, it can be harder, but it's still training. Then if you speak about the video, it's you just have to apply the principles and the procedures and protocols. But I would say the mental part is the toughest because it's it involves communication. It involves dealing with the high pressure, with the important games, and then this is how you structure your mindset and mind in these kind of situations. Mostly to focus on the things what actually you can influence, and trying not to think about things you cannot influence, avoiding some overthinking and things like this. And it's maybe easy to say than sometimes to do it. So I would say it's continuous work throughout every game and every tournament.
Yeah, do you have any like a specific technique that you use? Like some referees that I know, I myself, like for example, I use kind of visualization or scenario thinking so that I'm ahead of this situation when they happen on the court. Do you have like anything that you do when it comes to mental preparation that really works for you?
Basically, my main focus is to prepare for the game, to do the scouting with the crew, and not to think about who will play, what kind of player or what kind of team, or just to think about that it's 10 players on the court, it's two teams on the court, and I just have to do the job, no matter who is playing. What kind of national team or superstars or stars or doesn't matter. The players and the names. It's just the same game, just the different teams and different players.
Yeah, I think this kind of aligns with what you said about this. Focus on things that you can influence. You influence your own game, your own part of the game, and it's kind of irrelevant who's on the court actually playing the game. I think that makes sense.
And also keeping it simple,
Keep it simple. That's true. Not overthink.
Yeah.
Something, admittedly, I do. But that's the kind of person I am. And it's just like, I like officiating because when you're officiating, it basically highlights your strengths and weaknesses as a person, like really puts them into spotlight. At least that's how it works for me. The things that I do very well, I'm actually good at in my personal life as well. And the things I do a little bit worse, it's something I need to improve in my personal life as well. So this overthinking is definitely like a point of improvement for me. All right. So let's say we've done our work, physically fit, mentally sane, and on top of the technical knowledge, and we made to the big event. Let's take Olympics, right? So let's start with something very light-hearted in a way that, like, you have been to Olympics. Majority of the people in the world haven't. Majority of the referees that are officiating around the world haven't. So tell us something that people wouldn't expect about being a referee at an Olympic event. Something that we wouldn't know as an outsider of what it really means.
I would say at first, it was great experience,
and
on the other hand, it's also big pressure, and I was just happy and honored to be there, and it's just constant work and speaking with yourself to remind that, okay, it's Olympics, it's nice, but it's still basketball, and it's still 2 teams and 10 players on the court, and this is a matter also of, I said before and you said before about the overthinking, and I think we all overthink, and it's just a matter how we actually deal with it. When you go to the court, when you look at those rings, and you get the goosebumps and the feeling, but then you hit yourself or click in the mindset that, okay, I have to do the job, because it means if I'm there, I do believe that I deserve to be there, and it means I'm probably doing something right, and I just have to prove it on the court.
And then this was a unique Olympic in the sense that you were in Lille, and then you were in a football stadium that was converted. So tell us something that stuck with you from all that experience. Something intense, something funny. Like what do you take home with and tell your people about?
Yeah, I would say if you speak about the group stage, it was in Lille in football stadium, and the experience was amazing because the football stadium was like divided in half, and on average we had like 27,000 people in attendance for every game, either men or women, and this was phenomenal. And also the ability to go to every game to watch it, either we officiate or not, we were able to see it, and you can feel not only like you are the referee, but also you can feel as a spectator. And from those, I would say, moments I remember the most was definitely my first game in the Olympics, also the first jump ball. This was the feeling that it's actually happening. And the second was, I would say, also with one of my best friends, Martin Kozlovskis, also the referee from Latvia, and we basically started the journey in Latvia together with top league, also as the FIBA candidates, and we were together in the Olympic semifinal. He was on the court, I was as a 4th referee, and before the game, 20 minutes before, we were going on the court together, seeing the rings, and we just looked at each other. I'm like, hey man, we are here and together, and this was a special moment because our friendship and because of the way and the things we achieved so far together. It's
kind of the we made it moment, I guess,
yes.
Being there. All right. You already mentioned the other referees that you shared the experience with. I mean, it's some of the best, if not the best, referees in the world that officiates in the Olympics, but also some of the best players. How is the crew dynamic?
Good. and positive challenge. And of course, like you mentioned, we know each other. Of course, we know more Europeans, maybe a little bit less, the colleagues from the other part of the world. But we had a chance, to meet everybody in different tournaments before, in Olympic qualifiers, in the World Cups, and this was also kind of, I would say, the part of preparation, how we can set and build our friendship on and off the court. But regarding the dynamics and the chemistry, I would say it's just important to understand that we are here, to serve the game, and it's not about you and me or somebody else. We are just service providers, and like I said also before, the game is above everything. And if we all understand it, and if we are able, to transfer it to the court, then I think this is one of the main keys to success.
Yeah, I think that's like a very simple fact about our job, that we, well, probably not at your level, but at some levels that we tend to forget and be critical of each other as well. So I think it's important that what you said, we're here for the game, and it's not about me, you, or the other person. Very good. Now, like, we started from the preparatory phase and we went to the actual feeling of the Olympics and the games. Another thing is that these events are brutal in the sense that you have many games, one after another. There's little room for errors, even marginal. So what does the whole process looks like in between games? How do you spend your time? How much of it goes to actually improving yourself, and in what way?
I would say in general, the work starts like a few years before, and also in the tournament before, to align, all the criteria, all the protocols, all the procedures. But like we speak, into the tournament is basically first is preparation for the game with the crew, to do the scouting, to understand, how the teams are playing, who are the main players and who are maybe the statistic leaders, who are emotional leaders, who are best defenders or best offenders. And it's basically to understand and to expect, all the actions on the court, to have as less surprises, as possible, and to be ready for the situations. And this is like before the game. And after the game, basically, we have like a post-game meeting with our instructor, where we see like 5 to 6 clips from the game, analyze them, receive, some let's say short feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we definitely always, watch our game, go through the calls. We have like also a specific platform where we have all the calls marked, correct and incorrect. And this is good tool and also good statistics, to see like the big picture of the game. What was the percentage of the correct calls? What was the percentage of incorrect calls? Basically, I would say similar, like, to the players' statistics. And it takes, let's say, a few hours, but it's really important, to understand and to get the feedback and to be able, to correct some things if it's necessary, for the next games.
Yeah, funny you talked about this just software. I've been recently, like, I had a chance to get a sneak peek of it, and it's crazy work those FIBA video operators do. Like, real time marking 15, 25 different tags per call you make. That's insane work. So yeah, I started to grow a newfound appreciation for those guys as well. Like, because it's just, I understand it, that it really helps officiating move further in that sense, which is
amazing. Yes, I agree. And it's a lot of work, not only during the game, but I've been speaking with many of them also after the games, and it's like many hours after the game to make it work and to put it in the platform and to see it, as a whole, good like analysis and the feedback, for the referees.
So you get the videos, you have the instructors looking at it, you look together. I mean, I'm happy to hear that it's this whole thing is pretty standardized from top to lower levels. Like we have the similar process in different camps in our national levels here. So it's good to hear that, it's pretty standardized. But I assume in your level, you're looking at more nitty-gritty detail. What does it usually look like? Do you like zoom in on single calls and if they're correct or not correct? Do you get these IoT related, mechanics related feedback? I'm sure you do, but like to what extent they go into detail is what I'm really after.
Yeah, I would say the main point is to look at the decision, either it's call or no call, and basically not only marking that it's correct, but actually you have to understand the process behind it, like actually why it's correct, because of mechanics, because of positioning, because of timing of the whistle, and this is actually what FIBA instructors and all the bosses they work now a lot to work on not only correct decision but to have it correct and in a good quality, which means good process, good timing of the whistle, and then it you are, let's say, it's easier to reflect and it's easier to predict some referees, when you can see that, okay, 95 or 98% of the call he's making, with a good patience, with a good process, it means, he's much more predictable. Because for us, if you make a call, we have to be 100% sure. Like, we cannot guess. There is no room for guessing, and there is no room, for just missing, some kind of things like this. I think this is a good question, and here I can say that also in the big tournaments and prior to big tournament, the preparation, we have also mental preparation. We have a psychologist with who we can work also in the tournaments, speak with her, and ask some questions. And one of my best takeaways, after one conversation, with our psychologist was that this is one isolated situation, which is not determining me, as a person or as a referee. Still, I had a lot of good calls, a lot of good games, a lot of good situations. And if I analyze the situation properly, if I make, good conclusions, I can show my quality, if it happens again. And if I don't, repeat the same mistake again, that I can do it properly next time, then, I can evolve as a referee and also, as a person.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important to understand why it went the way it did, and then you can actually take steps to fix it. Do you recommend this like mental coaching now that you're at the elite level? You have access to it, but let's say like I'm at the the national level at the moment. So maybe you before 2017. If you go back to those years, do you think that it would be useful for people to actually have access to that kind of mental coaching?
I think it's really useful. My mindset and my thinking, I would say a few years ago was like, no, I'm a man. I have to deal with everything, by myself, how it will look from outside, that I will ask, for some kind of help and this and that. But then actually when I did it, after, a few situations I had also like in the national level, I understood that I think it's pretty normal, that we share the way we feel. It's just being, honest. And at the end of the day, the goal is to be a better referee, a better person. And to do the job, as best as we can do. And I think this is just a part, to understand that it's not going to be always easy. There will be, some ups and downs, and it's just a matter how we deal with those downs. Yeah,
I like it. I like that refereeing as this thing, which is like when you want to do it properly, you actually improve yourself as a person in general. It's very interesting that you become a better person. It increases your life quality, honestly. So it's a very interesting profession to be in. All right, I'm gonna close this part now, and then we're gonna try something. This is something new. I'm doing this first time with you, which is this kind of rapid fire style questions. I'll ask you a question. I have 6 of them, and then you'll just give me a short, fast answer, whatever you can think of. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, who is the best referee partner that you have traveled with so far?
I would say Martin Kozlowskis. Because, he's one of my best friends, and like I said before, we started the journey together, and we were, in the World Cup, and we were in the Olympics together.
Maybe he will be my next guest if he accepts. Let's see. I hope you'll give a good reference. But all right, second question. Most embarrassing moment on court. However you interpret this question, that's fine by me.
I would say, it's always not easy to deal with mistakes, especially when I was, let's say, younger. Maybe now I can do it much more better, But I had some, let's say, 1-2 games in the 5-6 years ago in Latvian level when I made few mistakes, not few, let's say 1-2 mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's basically that everybody can see it, except me. And then it's, I can still remember it, but I'd say now I can remember it with a smile, but it took a few years, to get over it. Also, like I said, to speak with psychologists, but at the end of the day, just we have to understand it's part of the business.
Yeah, some traumatic calls or no calls, eh?
Yeah.
All right. What would be your entrance music if referees had one every time they enter the court?
I was thinking about it. Okay, I think we can divide it in two parts. Like, serious one would be if we speak about the referees in general and the entrance music, it would be calm.
Calm?
Because it would be calm, yes, because basically we have to be unseen. We are not the main actors or the main characters in the game. We are just service providers, like we spoke.
Yeah.
And the main characters, with the good music is, the players and the coaches and the teams, But if we speak, from the other part, like let's say the funny part in the locker room, when I prepare, I like to listen, some rock, some hip hop, to hype me up and to have the positive vibes, in the locker room.
Yeah, but do you have a song for us, like something that this is the song that I would have it?
I would say Bon Jovi, Keep the Faith, because we have to keep the faith, and this is, I would say, good old school, music. But in general, there is a lot rock, hip hop, different styles.
Yeah, everything, anything that could hype you up before the game. I'm on the same boat as well. Speaking of music and the songs, what about karaoke? Is this something referees do together in some of the events or games? If so, who is the worst singer among them?
I was thinking about it, and I have not been participating like in many karaokes. Like in my career, maybe in some camps, there were few. But if I would need to answer who would be, the worst, it would be definitely me.
Yeah, you should, I think, come to Finland for karaoke then, because karaoke is more like I think the quality of singing is one of the least relevant variables. It's just the desire to sing that matters. Yeah. All right, so this is now like something we wouldn't know from the TV, but it would be great to hear from you. Funniest trash talk you have overheard during a game?
There was, actually, like, I cannot say, what exactly, was said, because it's, let's say, not nice words and not good for the audience. But there was one game in our local playoffs this season when I overheard, one like trash talk between two players, and in the end, they saw that I hear it, and it finished like we all three smiled and laughed about it. So it was kind of, one player tried to get under the skin of the other one, and I didn't punish them, but in the end, it just finished, with a laugh from all of us.
So they kind of acknowledged your presence, and they were
yes.
All right. Final question. One piece of advice you would give to an up-and-coming FIBA referee, so somebody who's going for a FIBA license?
I would say it doesn't matter, what level you are. You just have to stay humble. You have to be really, really honest from the beginning of the journey. And I would say one of the golden rules, what I'm trying to apply, always, it's just stick to basics and fundamentals. You cannot build a house starting from the roof. You have to start, from scratch. And if you are not working, game by game, year by year, on basis for the basics and fundamentals, you cannot, reach the top level.
Yeah. Okay. Super. This was fun. I've learned quite a bit, and I'm sure like the audience will feel the same way. Thanks, Gatis. It was a pleasure, and I wish you the very best at the upcoming tournaments.
Great. Thank you for the experience.